Oh, hi everyone. Today I'm interviewing Sally Wyse. Sally was addicted to alcohol in varying degrees for over 30 years. She has been in 8 treatment centers and sought help for her addiction. Nothing seemed to work, and yet, almost miraculously, she seemed to have transformed her life. This was about a couple of years back. She's no longer addicted to alcohol. When I heard the story, I was fascinated. As being a psychiatrist, I always thought that chronic alcohol dependence was very hard to treat. So I wanted to interview her. It seems not only has she overcome her alcohol dependence, but she's never felt happier and more content with her life. So welcome, Sally.
Hi.
Hi. Is that a fair comment that you have never been happier or more content with life?
Yes, definitely, because I've never had peace of mind before.
Thank you. So Sally, thanks for agreeing to be interviewed by myself today. It would be really nice for the viewers to get a sense of where you have been, how it all started, your chronic alcohol dependence.
Yeah. Looking back at my past history, I'd learned to fix a feeling with alcohol from actually the age of 5. Was the first time that I was told that I picked up a drink. And that was when my mother announced that she'd never wanted me and she'd tried to abort me, apparently. And that day I went round drinking alcohol that was at my mum and dad's party at their home. And apparently I got drunk. And I don't know whether that has any significance as to whether I realised at such a young age that that substance had done something for me then. But that was beginning of my childhood anxiety, and I was actually put on tranquilizers at the age of 6, and my parents blamed it on starting school. But I've now had an insight, seeing that it actually came from that day when my mum had said she'd tried to abort me. I never felt like I belonged to the family. But I started fixing the feelings probably from the age of 16. Any feeling of dis-ease I had, I found that alcohol would take that away, and gave me this false confidence that I'd always wanted. And looking back, I can see I was seeking that the whole of my life, to fit in, and to feel, to me at the time, it was to feel well, to feel normal. So yeah, my addiction really kicked off in year 2000, probably. I realised now that I was addicted since the age of 16, 17. I was drinking 7 nights a week. But it really started to affect my life in 2000. I was working as a senior science technician at a college where I'd been for 16 years and had a very good record. And I took voluntary redundancy and started working in an insurance company where drinking in the daytime was normal. So I started drinking every lunchtime and every evening. And suddenly I was getting the feeling of dis-ease more frequently. It was coming all day, every day, unless I had a drink to fix that feeling. And I don't know the actual day it happened. Sometime after that, I found that the anxiety was so huge in the morning before work. I took my first drink in the morning, and that was quite a shock. But I thought, well, this is okay because it will get me to work. I won't feel so anxious when I get there. And this just became a regular habit. Overnight, I was picking up a drink then at 6 in the morning before leaving for work at maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. And then drinking at lunchtime at work, or then even taking drink to work. And every single break I had, I would rush out and drink some more alcohol just to try and keep the anxiety and the shakes at bay. And it just got progressively worse from there. I lost my job. My health started deteriorating badly. I was vomiting every morning until I'd got enough alcohol down me that I would settle physically. It took my friendships, my family, my finances. I took myself to 8 different treatment centres, but nothing seemed to work long term. Every time I came out of a treatment centre, I was white knuckling it, where I could see that there was always going to be another drink at some point, but I didn't know when it was coming. Yeah, and then in 2014, I was admitted to Warwick Hospital. I was rushed to hospital by ambulance because I was shivering and vomiting and couldn't understand why I couldn't keep the alcohol down. And when I got there, they said that I'd got hypothermia and acidosis, and that all my organs were closing down. And I literally had minutes to live, according to the paramedic. But that didn't stop me drinking. That's where it had taken me. And to be honest with you, I wanted my life to end because I could not bear the pain, the anxiety, 100% of my waking day.
Wow. So Sally, that has been quite a journey, yeah?
Yes, it's been an awful, horrific journey of, hell, really, every single waking minute, for, nearly 17 years. 17
years. So who did you approach for help? Was it primary healthcare, such as the GPs, or were you sent to psychiatrists and secondary mental health services for your alcohol dependence?
Yeah, well, I think the doctor, I saw the doctor originally, who tested my liver because they realised I was drinking too much, and said that I'd got a very high gamma GT reading, or whatever it is, and they referred me to an alcohol treatment centre in my area. I'd seen psychiatrists previously for stress and anxiety in my 20s, and I'd had all sorts of treatment, including regression, and it was always about the past and what was causing my anxiety now. But the doctor referred me, I think it was about 1998, 2000, something like that, to the treatments, alcohol service in my area called SIAS, or Aquarius, which is a fantastic organisation which provided me with a counsellor that I saw every week, and also group work. And I was attending that really for 18 years on and off. And they actually did send me to my first treatment centre about 8 years ago for 3 months in Weston-super-Mare. And that's where I was introduced to AA as well. Okay. And every treatment centre I've been in is 12-step treatment centres, which are absolutely fantastic because it's all they know. And AA works for millions of people around the world. And I just, in the end, thought, well, if I attend AA 3 or 4 times a week, do what's suggested, then that's the only way I will stay sober. But I will never be rid of this alcoholism and this anxiety.
Okay.
So I've seen tons and tons of psychiatrists and specialists, which, you know, have all been really helpful, and just referred me to addiction services or AA.
Yeah. So I don't know whether this feels right for you, but why do you think it didn't work for you at that time? Because it seems like you did want to change.
Yeah, very much, because I wanted to be well. And when I was sober, you know, I could have an almost normal life.
Mm-hmm.
So AA kept me sober by going there, excuse me, a few nights a week, and going to the addiction service. I got involved in all the groups. I was doing art and golf and all sorts of activities, which are brilliant, to keep people busy, really, and to keep them from sitting at home on their own. So they worked, but I always knew that there was a drink somewhere. You know, I was predicting that, well, when this happens, of course I'll have to have a drink. I won't be able to cope with that stress, and I won't be able to cope with that anxiety. And it was always a pre-prepared anxiety attack that, oh, it'd be okay because I'll be able to fix it with a drink. But that's only something that I've seen since studying the 3 principles, that I was always trying to fix a feeling.
Okay, yeah. So we'll come back to what you just said, the 3 principles. But before that, was there anything the professional said you needed to do to get rid of your alcohol problem? Did they say, Sally, if you do this, then you know you should be able to get better?
Well, no, I was put on lots of different medication for my anxiety. I was on antidepressants and anti-anxiety tablets probably for the last 20 years. And the last time I went into the treatment centre 2.5 years ago, when I had my last drink, I saw, it's the first time I saw a psychiatrist in a treatment centre. And that was fantastic, because he also spotted after 1 week of detox in the treatment centre that I still wasn't physically or mentally well. So he put me on a 2nd week of detox, because I had what they call a Broadgate walk, where I had no balance at all.
Okay.
And no one had spotted that in 8 different treatment centres, that every time I stopped drinking, I lost my balance. And I could never understand it. So I often picked a drink up to get rid of this feeling of vertigo. But no, the psychiatrist just said the only thing they know, and that is to attend AA and my addiction service in Solihull, which is fantastic, which I'm now actually hoping to volunteer at.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, Sally, is that you had what I would call severe alcohol dependence, not just for a few months or just a year or so, but several years. And it was not like you didn't have the motivation to change. You really wanted to change, and so you sought help. You did everything you could, and despite all those, and being sober from time to time, it didn't last long.
No.
No.
I think the maximum I did was, which is quite funny really, because I did 364 days going to AA and my treatment centre. I picked up a drink on the night of 364 days to celebrate a year's sobriety. And I thought, well, I've been sober a year, so if I just buy this 1 bottle of wine, that's all that will happen, is I'll drink half a bottle and I'll be okay. I can drink like a normal human again. But within a week or 2 weeks, I was back to full-time drinking 24 hours a day when I was awake.
Wow.
And every time I picked up a drink, a relapse, it became worse. It would happen more quickly and more severely every time I relapsed.
Yeah. but you did do it for 364 days. But
Yeah.
it seemed to me like it was extremely hard work, that you had to do things like going to meetings on a regular basis. And so it was hard work working towards recovery, and you did do it, but it took one drink to have a relapse.
Yeah, yeah, that's all it took every time,
Yeah.
was one drink. And it was just, now I realise it was the thought of the one drink, the
Yeah.
thought of, I'm feeling this dis-ease, which I was told I was born with a disease of alcoholism, which I now see is absolutely ridiculous. How could I have been born with an addiction?
Mm.
I was addicted to fixing feelings, I now realise, because I couldn't cope with the dis-ease. So yeah, one drink would take me right back to rock bottom, just trying to purely fix a feeling that had come from a thought that will fix me today. And I'll be able to get through this day if I just have one or two drinks.